Ravens across the board. Next game here. Interesting matchup.
Very. Game of the
Before we get
week.
into this, I'll just start with saying that we don't agree with anything Deshaun Watson did, and we can just get past that because it's not worth spending a half hour talking about it. Just saying,
100%.
just addressing this game. But we got the Cleveland Browns, who are 4-7, going into the Houston Texans, 1-9-1. Cleveland's a 7-point favorite here. You know, Watson. We touched at Watson's first game back. A little bit of a not so welcoming home here in Houston. It's going to be, because it's a big question here, though. Does he have week one butterflies, week one jitters, or does he have week one fireworks? Is he worth the paycheck? Is this, that's a quick question for you guys. Is he going to show in this week that he's worth that paycheck, that he's got it, or is it going to take some time?
I think if it
Just a quick
could,
question.
I think if it could be this game. I'm going fireworks.
Yeah, I mean it's weird to say because I mean we haven't seen him in how long, but yeah, this game fireworks.
No, I think it's totally going to take time. I think it's totally going to take time for him to prove even to be worth half of that contract.
I agree with that, but I think that in this game potentially he could blow the top off.
We could. I just so for me, I asked the question because me making this pick, I look back to week one and all the teams that looked bad that now look good, like Dallas put up 3 against Tampa Bay, right? And then they had to fix their O line, they had to address some things, get healthy, figure out what the defense was doing, and now they're a top team in the NFC. And not to mention that Dak didn't look good in that game on top of only putting up 3 points. So I think this is a scenario where I think that Watson's going to struggle, not because he's bad, but because he's got too much going on mentally. He's been out for a year and a half, 2 years now. There's a rhythm to playing in the NFL game. You see rookies come in and they always look bad. Always. There's not a rookie besides Andrew Luck who's come in and instantly looked good. Besides for maybe I guess Dak Prescott did, but he had to come in after sitting, being behind. Different story, but I think it's going to be a rough game for him. I think I'm taking the upset here with the Houston Texans. I think there's a little bit of under the table holiday bonuses sliding down from the owners saying you win this game. This is the only one that matters. Look, we know we're picking first overall. I just want to beat Deshaun Watson. I just want to prove that he's a scumbag and we want to win, that we can win without him, yada, yada, yada. So I'm taking the Texans here on the upset.
Wow.
Scumbag, huh?
No, I can't. I'm taking. Unfortunately, we're going to take Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns.
Unfortunately,
because if you take,
now we were shooing away from this time to talk.
right. No, I'm saying I have to pick a winner here, and I just don't see Houston.
I'm saying it from the perspective of Houston.
Yes,
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Gotcha.
I just don't see Houston being able to, stop that defense.
That's your year 2 QB. That's your year 2 QB, David.
Is he even playing? He got benched. He got benched.
Yeah, he did get benched last week.
I can say he has been struggling, but this Browns defense, while it should be good, they are bottom 5 in sacks and interceptions.
Total defense too, like 30 out of 31.
I mean, he's been hurt. Myles Garrett's been hurt. He's driving into stuff. I don't know what he's doing out there in his free time. It's crazy Cleveland Browns. They all making crazy decisions down here in Cleveland. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm taking Cleveland Browns here. Either way, you got Chubb. I'm taking the Browns.
Myles Garrett believes I'm taking the Browns and Deshaun Watson. Houston's just I've seen things here and there. I've seen some sparks. I like some things that come from Houston. I like Pierce, and I like, and then Pierce went down, or no? Or am I thinking of
Cooks?
Pierce?
Cooks is going to miss his game. Brandon Cooks.
I'm thinking of a different running back for a different team, probably. But anyhow, definitely like some pieces that they got over in Houston, but it's just not enough. I think they're more talented all together in Cleveland, so I'm going with the defense and Deshaun Watson. Hopefully he makes a spark happen. Myles Garrett, just a fun fact, he apparently was supposed to be a basketball player, and he believes he would have been an elite basketball player. He's kind of not shaped for it, so I don't know. How about you, Char?
I think he could hoop, definitely. On the game, I I think Deshaun's going to be rusty. The little stuff that we've seen from him in the preseason, he did not look good at all. And you're going to tell me that he got to practice with the team for a couple of weeks and not take all the reps either because they still had to play games and win games. So Jacoby was there. And it's tough for me. These teams are, personnel wise, they're not similar. There's no doubt about it that Cleveland Browns are a more talented team. But think about the rest of the team. We're kind of hyper focusing on Deshaun Watson, his return there, and organization. Maybe like I like that. It made me laugh about slipping bonuses and stuff. That stuff does happen though. We've seen Bounty Gate and all that good stuff. But what is the rest of the Cleveland Browns? We talked about it in the preseason show. What does the rest of the Cleveland Browns come in this game? And they're going to have to hear the same boos. They're going to hear all that crap from the fan base that Deshaun's hearing. You know what I mean? And at this point in the time in the season when Cleveland is out of the playoff race, I would, pretty squarely with the way they played up until this point. What really does a lot of them have to play for? Chubb's got a rushing title, maybe he's chasing, but who else has got much? You have professionals on that team, like your Amari Cooper is going to bring his lunch pail in every week. But the only thing the Browns do well this season is run the ball, and the only thing that the Texans have done well this season is run the ball. If I get the Texans that showed up against the Philadelphia Eagles a couple of weeks ago, I think that Texans team can beat this Cleveland Browns team with a rusty Deshaun Watson. And I'm going to go with you, Brady. I'm going to go with the upset here. I'll take Texans.
I like it. I mean, the smart pick is to take the Browns, but I think there's a lot. There's not too high. It's not something to throw your hat away when you say betting on the fact that he's going to have a bad week one. Aaron Rodgers does it literally every year of his career. He has a bad week one and then goes and wins the MVP 2 years, back to back. So it happens. And
there's just a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot
on his plate. Yeah, there's a lot on his plate. So
I just don't think it's all about Deshaun. I think there's a lot of stuff from the rest of the organization. You just took out their leader for the first 11 games of the season, Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah,
you just took him out.
True.
He didn't do anything wrong, and you're just like yoink, put in. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of stuff. Yeah, Njoku banged up too.
And Njoku's out this game, and he's the only reason that you won that Bucs game because he made a ridiculous one-handed catch, falling backwards out the back of the end zone.
Beautiful with the left.
There's multiple, and there was multiple plays there in that final drive for them to come back to beat the Bucs. Mm-hmm. But if they don't make that drive, they finish that game with 10 points.
And who threw that pass too? That was Jacoby. I wasn't Deshaun, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be interesting.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, the Bucs defense is a little bit better than the Texans, but I honestly don't think it's that much better than the Texans. I mean, the Texans do have some spark here and there, but they can keep this game low scoring and give Watson a run for his money, and then just keep the game on Pierce's shoulders and safe quarterback play.
Yeah, David Mills is playing. He's a starter.
Nice.
Good.
That's 2 upsets this week, Brady. You just caught me in the picks. Careful.
It's all right. All right. Next game, though. It's split there. Next game, interesting one. Because if I told you, here we are, week 13,